have landed at KL International Airport. It's 34 minutes past 1 in the afternoon and the temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. To our visitors, selamat datang to beautiful Malaysia. And to Malaysians, welcome home.
Our first film was shot in 2003. I just finished college, so I had a bit of time. After so many years, my mother was making her first trip back to her hometown, and I decided to tag along and film that journey.
I was born in Johor Bahru. It's a southernmost city of Malaysia. I grew up in a working class environment.
My father is a first generation migrant. So he came when he was 13 years old, around 1930s. My mother was born in Malaysia. Her father was a migrant. The place where we live is the port town of Malacca. It was an international port for centuries and centuries. So there are many types of people who settled in that port. So 5 minutes from where we lived, a lot of Malays, natives to the place, still planting rice. Another 5 minutes away was a Portuguese settlement from the 14th, 15th century Portuguese occupation of Malacca. Around my house was very, very Chinese. So there were a lot of Chinese rituals, weddings. And then, of course, my parents had Indian friends. I mean, because I'm Sri Lankan.
I was never very close to my extended family because when I was growing up, my family lived quite isolated. My great-grandfather was some kind of a community leader in the town that he grew up in. And I heard that he knew calligraphy and he knew martial arts.
是我公公从海南岛那边过来，在日本侵略马来西亚的时候，就嫁给了我的婆婆。我公公那时候是做面包吧，做面包为生。据我婆婆所说啦，她是本地出世的华人，应该是她母亲那一辈，我不太清楚，她也很少说。我妈妈是被领养的，大概在她50多岁的时候，她才认回她的生父生母。养父养母都是中国来的，都是卖甘蔗水为生，在戏院前面。
My maternal grandfather was born in Johor Bahru, and then he was later adopted by his relatives in Riau, Indonesia, which is where he later grew up and eventually died. My maternal grandmother was from Medan. My maternal grandfather, he was raised by a royal family. He later was quite known as a philanthropist, and he was like part philanthropist, part politician. He was a member of Golkar, which was quite an influential political party in Indonesia. I remember my mom was telling me she came to Malaysia on a boat, her dad's own boat, so he had a boat. Yeah.
Actually, my father's family has been here for maybe about 4 generations. They had a small plot of land where they grew rubber. My father works on a palm oil estate, so I grew up on a palm oil estate. My house was a 10-minute walk to my neighbor's house. Most of my time was spent with my brother for company. On my mom's side, her parents came from the southern part of China. My grandfather owned a Hainanese coffee shop in Butterworth, which is in the north. I think that was one of the popular businesses.
除了做面包，还有批发豆沙饼。那时候骑脚车，后面有一个大箱子，从马六甲踏去东甲、麻坡，距离大概好几十公里吧，非常勤劳啊。
With my close Chinese friends, we all had to speak in Malay because that was the only common language that I could speak with them. Other than that, they spoke Chinese and I spoke English.
My parents bought me a point and shoot camera on my 12th birthday. I think that later helped to nurture my interest in photography. I got into skateboarding because in a way, a way of life in itself. It came with own niche, media, print and video magazines. When I started out, it's more as a medium of expression. It was also driven by a desire to travel and connect.
I think my professional career as a university lecturer is definitely reached its end. But I also have a second career as an arts educator, working with children. That is also reaching its end. So actually I have no idea what direction I'm going to go to when I go to the big city.
It's like maybe to some person it might be very clear cut that I am Chinese because I look Chinese, so what else could I be? When I was growing up, I was never had this thought that, oh, one day I want to be a musician. It's just that I've always enjoyed the creative process. Around the 90s, I discovered all these new independent bands. What I really related to was that they did not have this manufactured feel, so they seemed like just normal people who pick up a guitar and suddenly start a band and play. So I think that gave me the confidence to explore music as a creative avenue.
对我写的东西就是关于我的生活了，会写一些歌词啊，会写一些自己的日记啊，或者一些短文。比如说有一幅作品是讲马六甲海峡的风，因为我觉得白日依山尽，人路爱流，我并不熟悉啊，我更熟悉的就是交锋夜雨。
There's a sense of familiarity. It's not totally foreign. My mom, because she spent maybe early years of her life in Dumai, Riau, Indonesia. From what she remembered, the town hasn't changed much. It probably looked a bit like certain parts of Malaysia, maybe back in the 60s.
I need some form of familiarity. I've only made 3 regional moves. That means from Malacca to Penang, but in between I was in KL for 2 years. I carry everything with me, some of the Malacca furniture and some of my personal belongings to Penang. And then I accumulated things in Penang and I've been carrying it to all my 10 houses. And now I'm carrying most of the same things back to Kuala Lumpur. But I think I'm carrying them back more out of a sense of carrying your past, familiar things with you. I don't think I'm ready to let go of like a familiar chair or a familiar, but it doesn't stop me from moving lah, as long as I carry the things. I don't think I'm ready to leave everything and just go to Kuala Lumpur without my books or without my few furniture that I've been living with for 25 years. I'm just carrying it around for the last 25 years. And some things belong to my grandfather, my grandmother, I'm still carrying it around.
My family moved 3 times when I was growing up. From Pahang, then we moved to Negeri Sembilan, and I was there during primary school. Then in secondary school, we moved to KL.
我第一次到新加坡的时候，就看到他们的那个建筑物，就觉得哇，这个是纽约是哪里？就是觉得哇，好繁荣啊。然后慢慢就觉得很闷，新加坡很闷。那时候工作也不太顺利，所以就回来了。
Like when I went to Australia, I knew I was not Australian. So I think being Malaysian is more a matter of knowing what I'm not. And that gives me a sense of who I was in that place when I was overseas.
I remember we used to have better beach, better in terms of the quality and also access.
And JB is, other than KK, I think it's the city which has both east and west coast. So it's surrounded by water. So there's so much beach here, but now they are slowly disappearing.
This whole region of the world has had a lot of influx of migrants over the last few centuries, and the people who have come here, like my forefathers, have adapted to the way things are here. I think we are also we have become very unique in the sense because for me to say I'm Malaysian Chinese, yeah, in a way that's true, but when I work with colleagues who are from China, I can feel that obviously there is a very big difference between us culturally.
Even though my mom had been here since 6 or 7, but technically she's still not a Malaysian. She still doesn't have a blue IC because she still uses Indonesian passport.
50 years is the time bomb line. For 50 years, my father was worried that we were not Indian enough. My father was very worried that we were not speaking Tamil, especially I'm number 5 child. So like number 5 child is not speaking Tamil, not wearing sari. So we used to have a lot of fights. But after that 50 years that he lived in Malaysia, he really relaxed. He just gave up and went, it's another generation now.
In a way, another, we are always in transit. We are really fixed to a particular port or location. We are always moving, yeah. Either in our cars, in a plane, or from one house to another house, from one job to another job. But the movement doesn't always have to be physical. It doesn't have to be certain as long as...
What matters more is always the in-between. It's not the start and end, right? Because a lot more things happen in the between instead of start and end.